Over the past few weeks, I've had to come to grips with a very devastating reality. The 2008 Mamma Mia film and its 2018 sequel is actually kind of bad.
Part 1. Mamma Mia isn't perfect, and that's okay.
First off, this isn't a CinemaSin style beat-by-beat nitpick of every flaw or editing mistake in the film, because have you seen my videos? At the end of the day, you're not watching Mamma Mia for any intricate plot points or story arcs. You're watching this for the vibes. It's the perfect brain-off entertainment where you're transported into the magical fantasy land of Greece, where everyone sings and dances and drinks and laughs and just vibes together. You're watching this for the vibes. And that's a perfectly valid reason to enjoy the films. I mean, that's why I watched and rewatched Mamma Mia 1 and 2 so many times. I just want to live vicariously through these carefree characters and just vibe out to the music of ABBA, and just... young Donna is so... like, I'm sorry, but are those jeans liquid? Was she sewn into them? And while that reason alone is completely fine, I don't think you're getting the full deal out of it either, even if it's just for that intention. When I went to watch Mamma Mia Here We Go Again in theaters for the first time, while I liked the film overall, for some reason, I felt it was lacking a certain energy to it, and I couldn't figure out why. Upon a second watching, I realized that the musical numbers, arguably the most important aspect of the films, didn't have any dancing? I mean, okay, in terms of progressing the story or whatever, they have really good blocking and they're not bad to watch. But I feel like for a jukebox musical where the main selling point is the music, I don't think the cast is enjoying the music that much. But more significantly, for a jukebox musical based around the discography of a 70s glam disco band, what better way to enjoy the music than to have the cast dance? So,
Part 2. Why aren't they dancing?
I feel like this is most evident when you compare the dancing queen sequences in both movies. In the first movie, Donna's friends are trying to cheer her up, and it's fun, it's goofy, it's intimate. It's a really good moment to show how each character behaves and how they interact with each other, so I can forgive that the dancing isn't the main focus here. In the second film, however, it's supposed to be this really big moment where Sophie discovers that a boat with all the people that she loves is arriving just in time for the grand reopening of her mother's hotel. And everyone is happy and singing and kind of dancing. I mean, okay, there are some parts that are well choreographed and they look okay, but most of the scene is just Sophie skipping around the island with a parade of people following her. There are no new characters that are introduced, and the storyline pretty much halts for this number, so the blocking doesn't really need to show too much aside from continuing the already established character development, so why on earth aren't they dancing? This is the perfect moment for a big group number, the big dance break, and I mean big. Like, look at how many people are on the boat. This song is literally called Dancing Queen. And what do they do with all this setup? Not dance? And no, this is not dancing. This is a flash mob. So I tried to find performances of Dancing Queen to show better examples of what can be done with this number. Instead, I found myself going down an even deeper rabbit hole of increasingly disappointing displays, each one dwindling my already thin thread of sanity by which I am suspended.
Part 3. Is this the best we can do?
I started off my search by looking to the Broadway show that the movie was adapted from. I figured by nature of theater as a medium, they would have better choreo for the group numbers, especially because the song Dancing Queen comes up again after the bows and the whole cast performs together with Donna and the Dynamos. ABBA self-insert. So I was like, great. Surely the third highest grossing musical worldwide would have an amazing dance interpretation of a 70s glam disco song about dancing. Oh dear. It's the same bullshit again. You mean to tell me that the third highest grossing musical worldwide closes off their show with another flash mob? And because of there not being much to look at in terms of choreo already, you start to notice other flaws about this scene, like the way Donna and the Dynamos costumes just stick out like a sore thumb in front of the outfits of the rest of the cast, which I guess is the costume department's fault for making everyone else dress up like early 2010s baby gays. And they're not even together half the time. I mean, look at them. You guys are theater-trained performers, and this is the best you've got? And it's not just this production either. Virtually every recording of the stage musical I can find uses this exact choreography at the chorus. Like, is this really it? This show has been running for 2 decades now, and no one has come up with a better dance routine for this absolute banger of a number. And it's really sad too, because you can tell that the cast themselves are itching for more dancing. Because again, this song bumps. There are a few moments where the cast members will go off script and ad-lib a few dance moves, and while for the most part they are a bit
cringy.
It's pretty obvious that even the cast members are aware of how held back this group number is compared to what it could be. And again, this is the perfect opportunity to show off some incredible feats of human performance, and what we get instead is some hand waving, some miming, whatever this is. Unable to accept this, I looked to 70s recordings of ABBA to see how the song is meant to be performed, and, well, there's even less dancing. I watched recording after recording of ABBA performing Dancing Queen, and I couldn't find a single one that does more than have them just kind of shuffle there. In this one, they have the stage populated by audience members that literally just sit there, making the song even more static than it was before. In this one, they're dressed like the cast of Hamilton if it was from the perspective of King George III, in dresses that stifle any emotion. And honestly, the dissonance between the band's stunning costumes and the stale non-dance that they give us is really off-putting to me. You can tell the band loves this song. I mean, look at how the musicians are playing. There's a lot of love that was put into this production, and yet none of it was put towards any choreography. And with each video, I grew increasingly more sympathetic towards the choreographer of the stage musical that had the task of converting this milquetoast performance into a group number. I mean, when you look at the source material, there really isn't much to work with. That isn't to say a proper rendition of the song isn't impossible, and surprisingly enough, there are some reasonable dance sequences out there. After hours of kratom-fueled research and confusing my YouTube recommendations by watching dozens of live recordings of Dancing Queen back to back, I can finally conclude that the best production of Dancing Queen is Kylie Minogue at the 2000 Sydney Olympics. While it's still not the peak of live performance, at least they actually realized that a song titled Dancing Queen should involve actual dancing, and the spectacle put on by the Olympic Committee in combination with Kylie Minogue's intoxicating stage presence really does the song justice. Her costume is gorgeous, and the backup dancers are showing actual feats of human strength and agility, and for once, are in sync. You may have noticed that I haven't been playing the actual audio from any of these recordings, and that's because, well, 1, I want to be monetized someday. 2, this song has been stuck in my head for days on end now, and if I have to hear it again, I will not have enough brain cells left to finish this video. But most importantly, 3, a good dance sequence doesn't necessarily need its music to be good. Obviously, the music enhances it, but by taking it out, we can clearly see how the Kylie Minogue concert actually makes use of its dancers, and how the stage musical, the film, and the ABBA performances really don't. Of course, more can be done to make the show more coherent, like better costumes, more lights, more stage effects, you know, stuff that would be more feasible had it not been an outdoor broadcasted event. But honestly, after a marathon of watching mediocre display after mediocre display, seeing one that actually gives us the energy that the song is begging for was just a breath of fresh air to me. So much so that when I returned back to the Mamma Mia films and rewatched their Dancing Queen scenes, all I could see is a missed opportunity. An opportunity to make this film as visually stunning as it is audibly dynamic. An opportunity to further draw in an audience that paid to see their favorite actors put on an energetic, engaging show. An opportunity that would have saved Mamma Mia 1 and 2 from the horde of unfair criticism that they received over the years had they spent more time making it even a little more fun to watch. But this opportunity was missed. And yet,
Part 4. Mamma Mia isn't perfect, and it didn't need to be.
by nature of being a jukebox musical, the film didn't need to have any compelling story or character arcs like most other shows. But they could have easily made up for it had they added spectacle. And one of the most effective ways to achieve that is to have some group dance sequences that show off the alleged talent of the cast. Instead, they stayed so close to the source material, which didn't give them much to work with in the first place, that we ended up with a show where instead of 2 female singers shuffling awkwardly and doing Bible camp style hand motions, we have 3 female singers shuffling awkwardly while an ensemble cast does Bible camp style hand motions. Perhaps it was the source material itself that was the main reason why the choreo fell so flat. After all, if you wanted to make a jukebox musical based on the discography of a 70s glam disco band with large spectacle and danceable songs, Earth, Wind & Fire's right there. But unfortunately, by 2001 standards, that wouldn't have sold as well compared to the music of ABBA. And that isn't to say that ABBA is in any way a better band than Earth, Wind & Fire, by any means. But when you're a Broadway musical producer and your target audience is rich, white 45-year-olds, ABBA was the way to go into tapping into the cash cow that is rich white nostalgia. And it's those rose-tinted glasses that kept Mamma Mia running so long and selling so well despite lacking the spectacle and the energy that the music so desperately craves. So when the time came to adapt this into a film, what more did you need than a cast of big-name actors with just enough musical training to convincingly present the music of a famous 70s band to an audience that didn't care too much about a well-polished performance as long as they get to jam out to their tunes again? Which brings me back to my first point. Mamma Mia didn't need to be perfect, or even good for that matter, to sell. If the music slaps, people will pay to see it. And see it, they did. Because at the end of the day, you're not watching Mamma Mia to see some awe-inducing, jaw-dropping performances, just like you're not watching it for the complex storylines or deep messages. You're here to turn off your brain for 2 hours and hang out in Scopelos, Greece, with a cast of people that look like they could be your friends and family, given that you fall under a specific demographic, and to jam out to the songs of your youth. You're here for the vibes.